Coming up next on Good Morning El Paso, should Texas decriminalize marijuana? A proposal from an El Paso lawmaker ended up in debate, and it lasted till 3 o'clock in the morning.
Guilty. Now that Dzhokhar Tsarnaev has been convicted of the Boston Marathon bombings, jurors have to decide if he should get the death penalty.
And after a long wait through winter, AAA baseball is back. The gates of Southwest University Park will open again today for fans of El Paso Chihuahuas.
Live, where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley and Las Cruces to El Paso and the borderland. This is ABC7's Good Morning El Paso.
Good morning, everyone. A live look at Southwest University Park this morning.
Happening today, the El Paso Chihuahuas will be taking the field for their home opener. But the big question, of course, is will the fans have to put up with any wind?
We hope not.
A very good morning to you, El Paso, Las Cruces, and Juarez. I'm Stephanie Valle.
And I'm Hillary Floren. Good morning, everybody. Right now it's 6:01. Time to talk to Crystal about that very subject, the wind.
Yeah, at least the first alert is no longer in effect, Crystal.
That's right. Last night, Doppler Dave lifted that first alert once the strongest wind gusts had moved through. Just as we forecast yesterday, we had the blowing dust. We had the gusts 50 to 60 miles per hour. But today, a different story. We're looking at much lighter winds this morning, just 6 miles per hour outside, and a temperature of 61. Beautiful start to our El Paso Thursday. Over to Las Cruces, also very nice. 47, it feels like 42, thanks to winds at 12 miles per hour. So a little chill in the air this morning over in Doña Ana County. Otherwise, it's mostly clear out there for our current conditions, with clouds and radar showing us just a few thin upper level clouds that are going to roll on by. No rain this morning. And those wind speeds later today, they're just going to track to the breezy range. But in the days to follow, what can we expect? We'll check in on that in just a few minutes.
Okay, looking forward to it, Crystal. Opening day is here for the El Paso Chihuahuas. The gates are set to open in several hours for the start of the second season. And Good Morning El Paso's Denise Olivas is live in downtown El Paso. Denise.
Good morning, Stephanie. Standing room tickets are still available for today's big game, and when the fans make their way downtown here to Southwest University Stadium, they can expect some changes to the ballpark. Owners have invested another $1 million to make improvements. The biggest change to the ballpark is the new entrance and exit here on the right along the field, along the Santa Fe Street. Actually, last year there were only 2 sets of stairs, and now there are 5 sets of stairs, which should help avoid the bottleneck that usually happens at the start and at the end of every game. We're told that there is also a plan to have live music out here Friday through Sunday. And also, another addition are new fans on the concourse behind home plate and down third baseline. If you came to a game last summer around mid-July, then you know exactly how hot it can get out here, and hopefully those new fans will cool things down. Back out here live, you can see that new entrance right behind me here where it says the Santa Fe Street Gate. That's one of the additions to this season. Again, standing room tickets are still available. You can get all that information. We have it right now at KVIA.com, and also check out the information on the park and ride provided by Sun Metro and the city of El Paso. We'll also talk about that in our next half hour. For now, we're live in downtown El Paso. Denise Olivas, ABC7.
Thanks so much, Denise. It has been a long night for lawmakers in Austin. Legislators were up till 3 in the morning debating whether to decriminalize having small amounts of marijuana. A bill to do just that was proposed by El Paso Democrat Joe Moody, who says Texas is wasting time and money on these minor offenses. He thinks a non-criminal fine should apply like a traffic ticket. Moody's bill is just one of several dealing with marijuana. While plenty of supporters showed up last night, there was also opposition.
The marijuana today with the higher THC content is not the marijuana of yesterday. And I think the Colorado experiment is proving that the social problems that go along with that are profound.
And as for law enforcement agencies here in El Paso, the police department told us, quote, that the department is part of the executive branch of the government and simply enforces laws passed by the legislature and signed into law by the governor. They do not want to unduly influence the legislative process. From the sheriff's office, law enforcement is obligated to enforce criminal laws passed by the state representatives in the Texas legislature. Should they decide to decriminalize small amounts of marijuana, we will act accordingly. If passed, this will definitely impact resources, as we would be able to handle minor marijuana possessions in a much more expedient manner, allowing deputies to return to the field quicker.
guilty on all charges. The jury has handed down its decision in the Boston Marathon bombing trial, setting up Dzhokhar Tsarnaev for the next phase, which is sentencing. Here's Marcy Gonzalez with more from Boston.
After the lives Dzhokhar Tsarnaev took and the pain he caused, the Boston Marathon bomber showed little emotion as he learned he could face the death penalty, convicted on all 30 charges.
He should be held accountable for his actions, and I'm very thankful for each of the jury members that are making him do that.
The jury of 7 women and 5 men deliberated for more than 11 hours over 2 days, finding the 21-year-old responsible for the worst terror attack in the U.S. since 9/11, the deaths of Lindsay Liu, Crystal Campbell, and Martin Richard, as well as the violence that followed, including the murder of MIT police officer Sean Collier.
I'm amazed and grateful. I'm glad that they took time to go through everything.
The same jury will decide if he lives or dies, as the defense team led by attorney Judy Clark, who successfully kept past clients, including Unabomber Ted Kaczynski, off death row, will try to do the same for Tsarnaev.
They knew he was going to be convicted. The question for them is, can we save his life?
The defense hoping to do that by convincing jurors that Tsarnaev's older brother Tamerlan was the mastermind, an unconvincing claim to many.
For myself, I want to see the death penalty.
And we should know in a few weeks. That's how long the sentencing phase, which could begin as soon as Monday, is expected to last. Tsarnaev's attorneys have not said if he will take the stand. Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, Boston.
El Paso police have identified the man stabbed Sunday night in north central El Paso. 23-year-old Alfredo Carmona is recovering at University Medical Center. Police say Carmona got into a fight with another man near Lackland and Van Buren when he was stabbed. Carmona's friends reportedly took him to a convenience store several blocks away on Alabama, and that's where an ambulance picked him up. No arrests have been made. From our New Mexico mobile newsroom, a man in Chamberito is accused of shooting his sister in the head. The Doña Ana County Sheriff's Office reports it happened Tuesday night on the 400 block of Medina. Detectives say 42-year-old Javier Cadena was arguing with his nephew when he went into his room and grabbed a small caliber rifle. Witnesses say he got into a scuffle with the 53-year-old sister and the gun went off, shooting her. She is expected to be okay, but Cadena is charged with aggravated battery, tampering with evidence, and 3 counts of child abuse.
The Isleta School District is one step closer to a multi-million-dollar makeover. The project manager is going to get started on preliminary plans. While some worry it's just too soon to hire a project manager before the plans have been approved by voters, Superintendent Xavier De La Torre wants to be sure these projects are ready to go if the bond passes. We're talking about $451 million worth of renovations. Superintendent De La Torre says the project has to be complete in 5 years, something that would not happen if the district managed the project internally.
This is a multi-phase facility master plan. If we don't do exactly what we've told the public we're going to do in phase 1, there's no way we can go out to them for phase 2. So it has to be about as close to perfect as possible.
The board hired VLK architects with offices based in Houston and Fort Worth. So even if the bond fails, VLK will be paid $60,000 out of the general fund to start managing that project. So if the bond passes, VLK will enter into a 5-year contract with the district. If you regularly use the Pete Domenici Highway in Santa Teresa, listen up. The Federal Highway Administration and New Mexico Department of Transportation are having a meeting tonight to talk about improvements on the highway. That meeting will be at Santa Teresa High at 6 p.m. Our New Mexico mobile newsroom will be there, bringing you complete coverage on tonight's newscasts.
It is 6:09 and taking a look at downtown traffic courtesy of our TxDOT traffic cameras. I-10 and Brown, things moving along pretty smoothly. The freeway was closed at downtown going west, but it should have reopened by 6 o'clock this morning. Just keep that in mind as you get on the freeway.
And we have much more to come here on Good Morning El Paso today,
including a story that you'll see only on ABC 7. What happens when local street signs are misspelled?
And later on, could a woman be replacing Andrew Jackson on the $20 bill? We'll tell you who is in the running.
And for Storm Track weather, Crystal Clay has your complete forecast coming up.
And it's a much better forecast than yesterday. Your first alert's been lifted. How high will wind speeds go today and right on into the weekend? Your answer is after the break.
Thanks, Crystal. This is ABC 7, where news comes first.